The drama never ends for the New York Jets. Mike White has not been cleared for contact, meaning Zach Wilson will start at quarterback against the Lions on Sunday. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to break down. So let's hit it and get it started. The holidays are here and Detroit is coming to town. 'Tis the season for Quinnen and the crew to tame the lion. Will the Jets fans receive the gift of victory?
You're writing the story of your own life. Never allow another man to hold the pen.
Please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button down below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. Can these Jets shock the football world? Now, let's talk about the New York Jets. This is the Jake Asman Show. Hit it! Here we go. Breaking news. Did not expect to be talking about this today. Zach Wilson's back. He will start Sunday for the Jets against the Lions. Mike White was not cleared for contact, and I had a weird feeling something like this was potentially coming based on what Boomer Esiason said on the radio yesterday. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but first, let's hear from Robert Saleh. This was Robert Saleh explaining what exactly happened that is forcing Mike White to be inactive and Zach Wilson to now start Sunday against Detroit.
Mike White, he'll be limited at practice, but he will be out. With that said, real quick, regarding the Mike White news, before you guys all start tweeting, let me just I'm going to chronicle this whole thing for you guys so we can get this one right. Sunday after the game, obviously it's well documented, he was taken to the hospital to get x-rays and all that stuff, and all that stuff cleared. He got on the plane. Everything was checked out fine. Monday, Tuesday, same thing, get more evaluation. He was cleared for practice, which he has been doing. He feels fine. But our doctors, and rightfully so, would not clear him for contact. Mike White, who is an absolute warrior and has been doing everything he could this week to try to find another opinion to get him onto the football field, to find somebody who will clear him for contact, has exhausted every measure he possibly can because he wants to be out there for his teammates. That opinion will not change, and it's gotten to the point where we could drag this out to Sunday, guys. But this is one of those deals where we got to do what's best for the player and protect the player from the player. So he's been cleared for practice. He has not been cleared for contact.
I mean, just crazy that it got to this point. But if you listen to what Robert Saleh has said all week, he has said he's been cleared for practice. He never said contact. So it was kind of like word games that he was playing. This was Mike White yesterday. Notice what Mike White said about his chances of playing on Sunday. Listen to the question and then the answer. If we really were, I guess, doing a better job kind of sifting through some of the words here, this was implied that there was a chance this scenario could play itself out.
Is there any doubt in your mind that he'll start on
No,
Sunday?
not at all. Like I said, Monday, I'm preparing as such, and until something changes, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Until something changes. Like it's been out there. This caught my attention yesterday too. Boomer Esiason on his radio show openly talked about how he's predicting that Zach Wilson was going to play this week. So I think Boomer knew something as well in regards to this injury with Mike White. So here's the reality for Zach Wilson. This is quite the opportunity that he has. But in that clip there from Boomer, it's almost like he knew the Mike White injury was a lot worse than the Jets were letting on. And in hindsight, it clearly was. And Robert Saleh even said there's no guarantee that Mike White's cleared Thursday night against Jacksonville next week because it's a short week. So this is the reality the Jets are in. The situation sucks. I feel terrible for Mike White. He's earned the opportunity to keep playing. He's the best quarterback on the roster. There's no doubt. But now that it is Zach Wilson at quarterback, root like hell for Zach Wilson to come back better from this benching. Root like hell for Zach Wilson to go out there and show signs that he has improved as a quarterback. Show signs that he could run this offense. Zach is not incapable of potentially being a solid quarterback. I've always said that even with the benching. He wouldn't be the first quarterback to come back from being benched and play well. All right, look around the NFL. Tua Tagovailoa has been benched several times. He was an MVP candidate this season. Jalen Hurts got benched for Tua in college. He's the front runner for the MVP award this season. Those are two recent examples. Go through the history of the NFL. It wouldn't be the first time a quarterback's been benched and he's come back better from it. The reality, though, this is Zach Wilson's opportunity. I understand why most Jet fans think the season's over. They're not going to win on Sunday now. Zach sucks. I can't argue with you. Zach hasn't played well enough for me to sit here and try and pound the table why he's going to be great on Sunday. I will tell you that I think they can still win Sunday with Zach Wilson at quarterback. They're playing a Lions team that stinks on the road. They're playing a quarterback in Jared Goff, whose career numbers, when the temperature is below 45 degrees, he's not very good. The forecast for Sunday is 38 degrees. Like, this is an opportunity still for the Jets at home, mind you, to win this game. You know, it's not like they haven't won games with Zach Wilson this year. The team record's 5-2 with Zach. So they can win in spite of Zach Wilson not being great. But this is his opportunity here. He's playing for his future with the Jets. Because if he stinks it up, they're going to go back to Mike White whenever Mike White's cleared, and that's it for Zach Wilson with the Jets. I really believe that. I wasn't sure if Zach was going to see the field unless something like this happened, an injury to Mike White. So this is Zach's shot here. What has he learned from this benching? What has he learned from the humble pie he's had to eat the last 3 weeks? What has he learned when everyone on the planet seemingly is dumping all over the guy on social media or in every comment section? This is his opportunity here. He has no excuses. This team is good enough to win. He needs to run this offense, and he needs to look like a competent quarterback. And if they do that, they could beat this Lions team, whose DVOA is one of the worst in football, whose passing defense and overall defense is one of the worst in football. And as we told you yesterday, Brendan Riley, who's a Lions fan, came on this very show. He said the Lions have really struggled with running quarterbacks all year. Use Zach Wilson's mobility to his advantage. So this is a gut punch, no doubt. I understand why Jet fans, the vast majority of you, I'm already seeing the comments here, are down in the dumps. But here's the reality. This is Zach's opportunity here. This is a game that's not impossible for the Jets to win at home. It's a lot harder now, no doubt. But the reality is, it is on Zach Wilson to take advantage of this opportunity here. He doesn't need to be the reason they win this game on Sunday. He can't be the reason why they lose it. He's playing for his future. This is his opportunity. And, I'm going to root like hell for the guy. I really am. If you're a Jet fan, you're not rooting for Zach Wilson to go out there and play well. You're not really a Jet fan. Season's on the line. This is a must-win game if this team is going to make the postseason. And I think even with Zach Wilson at quarterback, they still can win it. But this game just became a whole heck of a lot more stressful, whole heck of a lot more interesting with number 2 playing quarterback instead of Mike White. This was Robert Saleh talking about Zach Wilson being named the starter for this week.
Be a great opportunity for Zach. When he was elevated to the number 2 quarterback, it was with the understanding that there's a strong possibility that he was going to play, and to prepare accordingly. He's gotten vast majority of the first team reps. He'll get all the reps today. He'll get all the reps tomorrow. And so we feel very comfortable about Zach's preparation as the first string quarterback, and that he's gotten his normal workload as a starting quarterback would normally get.
They knew this was coming. I mean, clearly. And they had some thought that this was a possibility. That's what Boomer implied on the radio yesterday. Saleh basically telling you that they had Zach get all the reps as a starter this week at practice. There was a chance of this coming and becoming a reality. And really, when they sat Zach Wilson down the first time, I really thought it was going to be 3 games where he doesn't play, and then he plays following that Bills game, because I figured the Jets would probably go 1-2 during that stretch. What I didn't think would happen is Mike White would play as well as he did in those 3 games. So despite the fact the team went 1-2, none of those losses were on the quarterback. Quarterback played well. But either way, this reset for Zach Wilson, let's find out if it worked. I mean, this is his opportunity here. All the Zach truthers who want to see Zach Wilson, this is your guy's last chance. If he stinks it up, he's not here next year. They cannot run him back out there next year if he bombs this opportunity. He might have to play 2 games here. And then the question is going to be, well, Jake, what do you do if they win these next 2 games? They go back to Mike White? Can we worry about that if they get that far? 1 game at a time for where the Jets are at right now. But this is surprising, but I guess when you go back and really read the comments from the last couple of days, we shouldn't have been stunned. It was right there in front of us, and we missed it. But I feel terrible for Mike White. And the Jets' offensive line should be ashamed of themselves, because they're the reason why Mike White, the best quarterback on this team, is not playing on Sunday. They're the reason. I mean, it's amazing that Mike White was somehow able to clear to come back into that game. I'm reading Brian Costello's tweet. Mike White was cleared to return to the game Sunday in Buffalo after he had x-rays in the stadium. He had further, more precise testing this week that showed further injury that led to him not being cleared for contact this week. I mean, it's unreal that he came back. And when he came back, he played well, too. He made some of the more impressive throws a Jet quarterback's made all year post the second time he went down after the Milano hit. So Mike White's a warrior. Nothing but respect for that dude. But, I don't know if he's going to play now these next 2 games. We know he's not playing Sunday. I'm not convinced he's playing next Thursday against the Jaguars. Regardless, these are games the Jets still can win. They get the 3rd best defense in the NFL. They're at home. They're playing a dome team in the cold on Sunday, and they're playing a team from Florida in the cold on Thursday. Season's not over. They got to find a way to win these games, even with Zach Wilson now at quarterback over Mike White. Zach Truthers, you get your opportunity to see your guy back out there. Let's see what he can do. He doesn't need to be the reason why they win these games. He cannot be the reason why they lose these games, like he was in the 2 losses to New England. But I'm curious to see what version of Zach Wilson we get here. Is he a guy that comes in knowing full well that he has a second lease on life and he can start to look like an NFL quarterback who can make the simple completions? Can we get the Buffalo version of Zach Wilson in this game? High completion percentage, efficient, no interceptions. That should be enough against the Lions. I really think the Jets defense will step up and rise to the occasion now. But, I have no idea how Zach Wilson will respond to this. I don't think anyone does. But this is his opportunity. And he's got to take advantage of it. It's a great spot for Zach. It really is. You look at the 2 defenses coming up. I mean, they're not very good. They're not. The talk about the Lions this week, you'd think they've won the last 7 Super Bowls. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're having a nice season. They played well. A lot of it's been done at home. A lot of it's been done against bad teams. They have not faced a defense as good as the Jets defense all year. Even without Quinn Williams, if he can't go and he's 50-50 for Sunday. Jets are home. Jared Goff in cold weather. These are his stats. Jared Goff when the temperature is less than 40 degrees. He's 4-4-1 with a 55.5 completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Those are Zach Wilson numbers. So with Zach at quarterback, this is still a game the Jets have to win. Have to. Does it become a lot harder in theory? Yeah, it certainly does. But this is the game they have to win. But I really feel for Mike White. How could you not? But it's Zach Wilson's opportunity here. 2nd pick in the draft, all the talent in the world. This is why Robert Saleh did not give up on him. This very reason is why when all you crazy lunatic Jet fans were saying, you should just name Mike White the starter and Zach should never play again. You should just bury him. This is why you don't do that publicly, because you never know when you might need him. You want Joe Flacco out there or you want Zach Wilson out there? Exactly. So root like hell for Zach Wilson. This is his opportunity here. He wouldn't be, once again, the first quarterback to have been benched and came back and played well and was better from it. Mac Jones, to his credit, is playing well. He was benched earlier this year. Tua's been benched. He's having a really good season. Jalen Hurts was benched for Tua in college. He's the MVP of the league right now in the NFL. Guys have been benched before and have come back and played better from it. Baker Mayfield, look what he did last week on Thursday Night Football. Zach has the talent to be a good quarterback. And I hope this reset maybe humbled him, gave him that kick in the ass that he needed, and he's ready to go out there and play good football. That's what you hope. Can I expect that? I have no idea what to expect. I do know this is his opportunity here. A lot of guys wouldn't get this opportunity. Zach Wilson has this opportunity. Take advantage of it. It's a winnable game at home against a Detroit team that is vastly overrated. It is an opportunity for Zach Wilson to get some redemption after what happened against the Patriots. We're going to open it up to your super chats and your calls. I want to take calls today on the show because this is crazy breaking news that we have here. So the link will be in the comment section to join on camera. Jet fans, how we feeling? Zach Wilson is back at quarterback for the New York Jets. Mike White not cleared because of injury. We'll take your calls, but first, let's talk about Mojo, shall we? Mojo is the sports stock exchange. Download the Mojo app right now and start trading your favorite player stock. Let's see if the Zach Wilson news has impacted Zach Wilson's stock. It has. Zach Wilson is up $2.76 to $23.48 overall. In the last hour, Zach Wilson's stock has increased 6.78%. So all the Zach truthers, if you believe in Zach Wilson, download the Mojo app and buy some Zach Wilson stock if you think he's going to play well with this opportunity. So check it out. Mojo, scan the QR code. It's right up there on the screen. I also want to share that this show is now on Patreon. If you want to get the Jake Asman Show ad-free every single day in audio form, go to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. And there you could sign up for just $5 a month. Get this show ad-free every day as a podcast so you could listen on the go. You don't have to use the YouTube app anymore. You could go out there and Bluetooth it to your car, or you're on the subway, or you're on the train, at the gym. You also will get exclusive Patreon-only podcasts every single month. And when my merch store launches, you'll get exclusive discounts on some of the items that we're selling there. So invest in me. If you like the show, check it out, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Big thanks to everyone who has signed up so far. We'll take your calls now. We'll read your super chats. Let's see what you guys are thinking. A lot to talk about. This one is from Alex, who says, something tells me this might be a front office forced decision. If Zach can't throw 300-plus yards against the Lions, all the teams he's done, Mike White plays versus Jacksonville. Mike White playing against Jacksonville is contingent on the doctors clearing Mike White. This has nothing to do with a front office forced decision. Woody Johnson spoke yesterday and was praising Mike White. This is all the doctors. Any of the speculation that the Joe Douglas did this because he wants to see Zach play because he drafted him is nonsense. The Jets bench Zach Wilson because they're trying to make the playoffs. They value that over throwing Zach Wilson out there, who was inept the last time we saw him and was going to continue to be inept if they put him out there because he lost all confidence and lost the locker room. They're hoping this reset is the difference in Zach Wilson playing well. The conspiracy theory is that the front office did this nonsense. They want to win. Alex follows up and says, we got to play Q. Zach can't win without a dominant D. If Q's healthy, he'll play. He's 50-50 to play. Douglas writes in, guess I could pull my Zach Wilson jersey out of storage. Hopefully the reset did as intended and he plays up to his potential. That's all you're hoping for. IG says, season's over. Zach's literally the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. Stats comparable to Kyle Boyer and Joey Harrington. Shake my head. I can't argue with you. Zach Wilson was terrible. So you want to say the season's over? Great. Season's over in your eyes. I'm going to root like hell for Zach Wilson and the Jets on Sunday and hope they can still beat the Lions, who I think are a vastly overrated team. All right? Zach Wilson's not the reason why the Jets went 5-2 in his starts, but it's not like they can't win with Zach Wilson at quarterback. They've done it this year. It's a lot harder now, but I don't think the season's over. Let's take some of your calls now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Don, you're up first on the show. What's up, Don?
Hey, Jake. I tell you, I'm sitting here doing some work, flipping through YouTube on the TV, and the little preview pops up for your show saying that Zach's the starter. If it wasn't your show, I would have thought it was a joke at first. But yeah, time to pull the Zach jersey back out, put the Mike F. White t-shirt down for a bit. But I guess the thing I want to focus on is the rest of the team. Obviously, Zach gets his opportunity now, but how will the players respond to him? Obviously, there's natural leadership capabilities that will just intrinsically come out, men leading men. But at the same time, these guys have to work with him. Can they find that self-motivation, if they have personal issues with them or just, the chemistry having not been there? Can the rest of the players on the offense step it up and try to rally around him? Because, it's about the team, not just the quarterback. And I think Saleh handled this so well. Difficult situation with the injury. He's keeping it close to the vest. His words are very precise. And before he named Zach the backup, what did he? So many people say, just railing on him for not having done that yet. You can't leave Flacco as the second quarterback. But then we see the next day happen. Zach is elevated. I think Salah's got a good handle on this team, whether we make it to the playoffs or not, whatever happens with Mike White. I have confidence in the organization now from a leadership standpoint.
Don, good call. Yeah, I do as well. As far as, Zach Wilson in the locker room responding to him, I've never for a second bought into they hate Zach. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's Mike White's better and he gives them the best chance to win. And they rallied around Mike White because he's a likable dude. They love his story. He was a 5th-round pick. He's bounced around the league. He's getting his opportunity. It's an easy underdog story to root for. That's why they love him. I mean, they also like Zach Wilson. All right, Zach Wilson flew all around the country this offseason to throw with his teammates. He took them all to Idaho before the year started. They all were wearing the T-shirts supporting Zach Wilson. They want to win. If Zach Wilson goes out there and plays well, they're going to rally around him. I think they'll rally around him this week. Remember what CJ Uzama said about Zach Wilson after the press conference against the Patriots when Zach addressed the team? He said he won a lot of people over that day. I'll see if I can find that clip for a future show. I don't have it handy right now. I think this team likes Zach Wilson. If he plays well, they're going to rally around him. If he stinks it up, they're not. It's a results-oriented business. If Zach goes out there and plays well and they win, no one's going to care. That's the reality. So they need him. All right? This is why I never buried Zach Wilson. This is why I ripped anyone who said Zach Wilson's terrible. Robert Saleh should say he sucks. Ban him, make him It's no, you might need him. He's better than Joe Flacco. Zach Wilson now gives you the best chance to win because Mike White can't play. So I'm going to root like hell for Zach Wilson on Sunday because they need him. All right, his mobility alone will make a big difference in this game. The Lions have struggled with running quarterbacks this year. All right, so they don't need Zach Wilson to go out there and throw for 400 yards to win. But they need him to go out there and be competent. And can he do that? I think he can against this team. Call me crazy, but I think Zach Wilson could be competent in this game on Sunday. Alex says, make Strebler the 2 and have him ready to enter and make a difference with his legs if Zach craps the bed in the first half and the Boo Birds come out. I'm assuming it's Flacco as the 2. I haven't seen that officially anywhere because I went live here, but I'm assuming it's going to be Joe Flacco, which I think is the wrong move, but for whatever reason, they love Flacco. Daniel says, I've seen enough of Zach to believe it can happen. I mean, look, this is his opportunity here. Zach Wilson's playing for his career right now. Same thing we said about Mike White. If Zach Wilson stinks it up here, he's not starting for anyone next year. This is his opportunity. Doug says all that matters is getting to 8-6. However, they got to win Sunday. You figure that out and then worry about Thursday when Thursday happens. Frankie says, this is a bummer. How does the team respond to him? If he plays bad and we miss the playoffs, it's going to be disappointing. Go Zach, I guess. This is Zach's shot. He's heard all the noise. I would hope the Jet fan that's going to the game Sunday is going to be loud and ready to rock that stadium. This is what we wanted. They're 7-6 playing their first meaningful home game in 7 years. So the latest the Jets have had a meaningful December home game since 2015. That place is going to be loud, ready to go, and it's going to be on Zach Wilson to step up. Period. If he can, he's not the guy. He might not be the guy right now. Let's be real. But this is his shot. Jonathan, thanks for the super chat. The big fellow writes in, I will support CW, but Mike White deserves to be the quarterback for this team. Mike White played tough against teams and did well. Zach got 2 inches per play against New England. Yeah, look, there is no doubt that Mike White has earned the opportunity to continue to start when he's healthy. But I don't know when that scenario is going to be. And if they lose these games, do they even go back to Mike White? I don't know. Because at that point, you're probably done as far as making the playoffs. Win Sunday and we can evaluate the rest. But this is a crazy scenario that's unfolded. Back to your calls we go. Jets Unleashed. You're up next on the show. What's up, Jets Unleashed?
Hello, man. How you doing?
I've been better, but never a dull moment talking about this team.
Yeah, and to be honest, the news just came out, so people were acting emotionally because of they're emotionally invested in this team. Me included, it's going to probably take within the next 24 hours. But when the game comes in, we're all going to be rooting for Zach Wilson. We are going to be trying because we want this win. We're in the playoff spot, so we're going to win. But if he does not go out there and does his part, he's not going to be the QB next year. End of discussion. This is his chance. This is his chance to show why he should be here next year. There's no excuse. He has time in the West. This is against a bad defense. There's no excuse. 100%.
Jets unleashed. I agree. If Zach Wilson stinks it up with this opportunity, he's not an NFL quarterback. At least for the Jets, he's not. This is it. This is his shot. He's lucky he's getting this opportunity. If Mike White never got hurt, he's not getting the job back this year. He's played too well. So this is his opportunity here. Can the locker room rally around him? They will if he plays well. It's as simple as that. I mean, Zach's playing a defense that's not very good. If he can't play well against this defense, what are we doing here? All you Zach truthers, find a different show if he struggles on Sunday. Because at that point, what are we doing? Go watch your BYU TV where they probably just pump up nothing but Zach Wilson's the greatest quarterback of all time propaganda and do something else. This is his opportunity. I'm not even asking for Zach Wilson to be good on Sunday. Be competent. Manage the offense. Don't turn it over. They can win. They're at home against a Lions team that is not good on the road, against a quarterback that stinks in cold weather. They can win this game on Sunday. Chris says, even more of a bummer after watching that sick One Jets Drive episode. Hope White's okay, but as a Jet fan, I'm confident Zach will get the job done. I can't sit here and tell you I'm confident, Chris, but I don't think it's doom or gloom like some make it out to be. They're not playing the 07 Patriots on Sunday. They're playing the 6-7 Lions. This is a game at home. The Jets still have a chance to win, even with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Alex says, should LaFleur consider running a less extreme version of Justin Fields' offense for Zach, considering his athleticism and issues processing and passing? You cannot implement that with 1 week's notice. And no, Justin Fields is a way different quarterback than Zach Wilson. Do I think there should be more RPOs in this offense for Zach? Yes. I think they should use his athleticism more, but you can't go full Fields. Uncle T says, where are all the Jet fans that love the MILF Slayer? Remember, Zach has a high ceiling. I trust him to deliver. What is that trust based on? Because the last time we saw Zach Wilson play, the offense averaged 2 inches per play in the second half against New England. So I'd love to know what that trust is based on. But we'll find out. Chris says, Zach Wilson and Brock Purdy have almost identical measurables. I was thinking to myself last night, it was almost like watching Zach in an alternate universe. I mean, they're running the same system. Mike White runs the same system Zach Wilson's running. Mike White could just complete a higher rate of passes. He's accurate. He's decisive. I mean, have these last 3 weeks helped Zach fix his processing speed? Because that's, to me, the biggest issue with Zach. Holding on to the ball too long. Bailing out of clean pockets. Daniel says the team will wear Zach shirts. They have no choice. I think that'd be a nice gesture if they did, but we'll see. I mean, this is a huge opportunity for him. We'll take more of your calls now here on the show. Keep submitting those super chats. Let's go to Jimmy from Seattle. He's up next on our show. What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy, you're on. We can't hear you, Jimmy. Jimmy will get his situation fixed. We'll go to Doug while we wait. Doug, you're next up on our show. What's up, Doug?
Interesting morning, to say the least, obviously. If I'm Mike LaFleur, I'm running the ball like 40 to 50 times on. If we have the ball that much, I'm just running the ball, trying to run the ball down his throat. Make Zach have the least opportunity to make mistakes. Trust Bam, trust Michael Carter, and maybe get some play action boots for it, Zach, so he can be using his legs. And honestly, I think you should try and follow the script as similar as that first Buffalo game, where he was like 18 for 25, 150 yards and a touchdown. Try and follow that script and just run the ball down the Lions' throats. I want Bam to have the ball at least 25 carries on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, can Zach duplicate the line he had against the Miami Dolphins in Week 4?
Yeah,
he was like 14 of 21,
and it would have been
10 yards, no interceptions.
And it would have been 2 touchdowns if Brees didn't get tackled at the 1-2 time. So just use the offense how it's supposed to be used. And one small thing, there's a bunch of Jets fans probably celebrating like, oh yeah, Mike White's hurt, Zach's back in. It annoys me how some Jets fans just care about being right instead of the team's success. They're
not Jet fans. They're losers is what I like to call them.
I want the Jets to make the playoffs. So my favorite memory is the Jets beating the Patriots in 2010. And then they haven't made the playoffs since then. I would love the Jets just to make the playoffs. Like if we lose in the playoffs, it sucks, but it's such a huge stepping stone to get back in the playoffs and it'd just be awesome. So some Jets fans just truly suck.
Yeah, they're not Jet fans. Like if you're a Jet fan, you're rooting against Zach Wilson, or you're rooting against Mike White because you want to see Zach play. You're not a fan. You're not a fan. A fan roots for their team to win, especially when we're not rooting for draft picks this time of year. We're rooting for the team to make the playoffs, which they still have a chance to do this year.
We've suffered through enough losing to be happy for this and hope for the playoffs. It's just sickening to see the fans who just enjoy the suffering, it seems like.
Yeah, look, this is a tough game, Doug, no doubt, but this is an opportunity for them to still go out there and win this football game. Jimmy from Seattle, let's try you again. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up, baby? Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Damn, man. Damn. No more headphones. But hey, look, I got a couple points. To start off, if you are like PSA, if you are in the chat talking about, the Jets are going to lose, like, or you're praying that we lose so Mike White can come in and stuff like that, or Strevler can come in, like, y'all need to get the hell out of here, man. Because like that's some BS. Because if you're a real Jets fan, you're cheering for everybody on the team. But for Zach, for me, there's just a breakdown and shit that he got to do for us this game. When he passes the ball 60% plus, we're looking good, right? He can get us down the field. Can he convert on third down? No unforced turnovers. Can he stop making the dummy play? Can he get the ball to his check down, go through his progressions? Like, that's the stuff I want to see. Like, we saw that last night if you watched the Seattle Seahawks and 49ers game with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy it's technically the same offense that we're running down here. They call us the New York 49ers over there. So it's like, if Brock Purdy, a rookie, can come in and do it, like, and you have the same measurables as Zach Wilson, what's holding up with Zach Wilson? And that's what us real Jet fans are really asking about Zach Wilson is like, hey, do what Brock Purdy is doing, bro. Just, play the game, be safe. Don't lose us the game. That's all I'm asking.
It's a confidence issue with Zach. I mean, physically, he's a gifted player. That's why he went second overall. It's mentally, can he process quick enough? Can he not have the yips anymore? Like, can he complete a screen pass, a dump off? That was
like he
issue.
struggles with, like, when the defense goes into his zone, you can tell, like, he has that first read, but then, like, after he's on it for like half a second, like, everything else is pretty much locked up. Like, when he's going, if you're like a really good quarterback in like Mike White was doing, catching Elijah Moore off the breaks and stuff on his second read, third read, like that's what we need from our quarterback. So I'm hoping that Zach Wilson can come up in here and do that, slice and dice, get some runs in and shit, and Bam Knight hopefully can be, Breece Hall 2.0 and keep doing what he's doing, which I find it hilarious that he got the belt this week.
Right.
What up, Jet Nation? We out here taking shit.
Good call, Jimmy. Look, it's a big game for Zach Wilson. I think this is a huge, huge game for Mike LaFleur as a play caller. He's got to make Zach Wilson comfortable. I think they got to get him into a rhythm early in this game. They cannot trail early in this game. I think the Jets win if they score a touchdown first, because I think that will just get Zach Wilson in a good headspace here. I think this game is a lot of mental warfare going on for the Jets. Some super chats, then we'll get back to your calls. Links in the comments if you want to join our Gusbuster Umbrella hotline. This one is from Daniel, who says the team will wear Zach shorts. They have no choice. I hope they do. Daniel says 3 good quarterbacks to last 17 games with new defenses. It's been a wild year for the Jets. If they end up making the playoffs, having to win games with 3 different quarterbacks, I would give Robert Saleh Coach of the Year. Philip says, Zach needed to throw down against a weak defense. Shout out to my dad who watches your stream. Might chip another tooth watching Zach play this week. Philip, shout out to you and your dad. This is Zach's opportunity here. He was god-awful the last time we saw him. Did that performance humble him, allow him to hit that reset and come back and play better? Robert Saleh has said Zach's looked great at practice. Is he telling the truth, or he's just trying to pump up his guy? Dominic, who rooted for the Bills last week because he was unhappy with Mike White playing, says Zach is finally playing a crappy D. It's his time to perform. He must perform. I believe he will, but he will not play as well as what you will see in a few years. Believe so much in him long term. Look, Dom, I hope you're right, dude. I do. I don't know how we could sit here and have a ton of confidence in Zach Wilson. My confidence in the Jets winning this game is more so the opponent they're playing and the Jets defense winning this game for them, like they did in the 5 wins that Zach had as a starter earlier this year. But this is not a good defense he's playing. He's not facing Bill Belichick. He's not facing Denver's defense. He's facing a NFL defense that is like 27th in DVOA. They're not very good. This is the Jets' opportunity here. Antron says, if Wilson comes out and plays terrible, does it solidify White as the quarterback next year? I wouldn't say it solidifies White as the quarterback. I think it solidifies Mike White and then probably a veteran being brought in to compete for the quarterback next year. If Zach craps the bed here, I don't see the scenario where he's the guy next year. I mean, maybe he's on the team because of his contract, but this is it. This is his opportunity. Sam says, Michael Carter dropping that ball on pass pro a lot last week in addition to the bad fumble. Pretty sure he got concussed in week 3 and fell through the cracks. I'm not going to assume concussion. I think that's kind of silly. Michael Carter hasn't looked right. He's also coming off injury to his ankle last week. Hopefully he's better this week, and hopefully they just run the ball with Bam. Treat Bam Knight like he's your RB1 getting 80 to 90% of the carries. CLS Smooth says, honestly, I'm gutted. I appreciate your positivity, but I can't see how Garrett Wilson and Moore are going to be as productive. They probably won't be as productive, but that's not the goal for Sunday. The goal for Sunday is to win the game. All right, I don't care if Zach Wilson throws for 150 yards if they win. They got to win. The playoffs are more important than Garrett Wilson's stat line. All right, so, yeah, I'm sure they're bummed out that it's not Mike White, but you know what? They also want to make the playoffs in that locker room. So that's the bigger story here. How can they make the playoffs? And to do it, I believe they got to win on Sunday. So with Zach Wilson, they need to find a way to still win, period. To your calls we go. Tom from New Jersey, you're up next on our show. What's up, Tom?
Hey, how are you? Love the stream. I got to say, who thought it was going to come to this? This is honestly Zach Wilson's future. If he plays poorly, he'll have lost the entire fan base, and they'll hate him if they miss the playoffs.
Yep.
And if he plays well, there's still going to be the question of Mike White comes back when he's healthy. I've been a Zach guy, but it got so bad after the Pats game. You had to go to Mike White. And your point about LaFleur is key. This has to be a phenomenal game plan. I don't even mind, give Streveler 5 or 6 design runs or something interesting there to keep them on their toes. Hopefully this galvanizes the team, but it's a gut punch.
It is, Tom. No doubt. Good call. Look, I'm not going to try and sit here and tell you it's not a gut, but it is. Mike White's the better quarterback. Mike White was playing really good football. They win this game. I was very confident they win this game with Mike White. I'm not as confident now with Zach Wilson. That's just a fact. Doesn't mean they can't win, though. All right? They won games with Zach Wilson at quarterback this year. So they could do it again on Sunday against a Lions team that's under 500. When did the Lions become the 07 Patriots? Enough. They're a good football team. They're playing well. Jared Goff is also not good in cold weather, and they're not good on the road. So no excuses. If Zach Wilson's competent, they should win. And I think the defense will take pride in having to go and win this game. They'll be ready to go. I really believe that. I'm looking at the line right now. I'm sure it's moved since the Zach Wilson situation popped up. Jets are now 1.5-point underdogs. So you want to bet on the Jets? You still can at BUSR, BUSR.com/Asman if you want to sign up and start betting today. We got a big sports slate coming up this weekend. Hockey, basketball, World Cup final Sunday morning. Check it out, BUSR.com/Asman. Knicks and the Bulls tonight. Islanders, Coyotes, Nets, and Raptors. There's your New York sports slate. And oh yeah, bowl season's here. Find any sport you want and bet on it at BUSR.com/Asman. We'll get back to your super chats in a moment. Let's keep the calls rolling. Mike, you're up next on our show. Your thoughts on the Zach Wilson news?
Hey, Jake, thanks for taking the call. We my son and I love your show. We listen almost every day when I take him to school, so thanks for all the great content.
Thank you,
Mike. I'm a season ticket holder, and I've been to we've been to the practices this summer at the who's going to be our number 2? Streveler's got to get activated. I can't head to this game and knowing that Flacco is going to be our number 2, especially after last week. They didn't mention that. What do you think's going to happen there?
It seems like it is going to be Flacco, which is painful, but it doesn't seem like they want to use Streveler at all, which I don't get. I mean, I'm not at practice, but he doesn't get any reps in practice, but is what I was told. So I don't quite understand it. I would make Streveler the number 2. At least he could run around a little bit. Flacco's inept. So, but I hope it doesn't come to that, ideally.
I hope so. I don't hope so. I agree with you, but I mean, I saw Strevler at the practices, and he really, honestly played great. And everybody's like always like, oh, he's playing great against third stringers. The third stringers become starters after an injury or two. On the team. You're all these people. He literally, the team rallied around him the same way they rallied around Mike White. I don't, if the first time I see Zach Wilson throw a ball at the ground when he's supposed to hit a screen pass, the whole stadium is going to go, is going to go to shit,
It's gonna be
pardon
rough.
me.
Yeah,
Right.
you
The
got to hope
first
that
time
he's
he
fixed
threw,
it.
right. Alrighty. Thanks, Jake. Right.
Mike, good call, man. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, you're going to be at the game on Sunday. If Zach Wilson struggles, he's going to get booed out of the building. That's just, I can't tell a Jet fan not to boo either. He's the second pick in the draft. Time to step up. All you Zach truthers, if your guy shits the bed on Sunday, it's going to get nasty. And I don't want to hear, oh, Jet fans are bad fans if they boo Zach Wilson. No. All right, we want to make the playoffs. Mike White's better. He was playing because he is better. Now Zach Wilson has an opportunity. Zach Wilson said the other day he still considers himself, part of the future for this team. Show us, man. This is your opportunity. Show us. Because I understand why most Jet fans have very little confidence right now. I get it. I think they could still win this game, though, but Zach's got to show us, man. I still think Zach Wilson's capable of being a good NFL quarterback. I do. We're going to find out, though, because if he cannot do it Sunday against a bad Lions defense, I don't see any future for him on the Jets. I really don't. I'd be shocked. Raphael writes in, can't wait to watch Zach throw easy dump-offs into the mezzanine, not being a Mike White zealot, just bum for our Jets. Why are you excited to watch Zach fail? You're not a Jet fan, dude. Why are you excited to watch Zach struggle? You want that? You want to see this team miss the playoffs? Go find another team to root for. Please. I appreciate the super chat, but come on, dude. You're excited to watch Zach Wilson struggle? Why? Root like hell for him to play well. I hope he proves all you guys wrong that are out on Zach. And even if he doesn't play great, can he play well enough just to win? That's all that matters. Just win. It's survive and advance, really, for the Jets. This is a must-win on Sunday. I don't see the path to the playoffs if they can't beat the Lions at home. I really don't. I know technically they're not eliminated. They could still run the table, but this is a huge game for the Jets. Huge. Let's go to Jay. You're up next on our show. What's up, Jay? Jay, your mic's on mute.
Yep. I just unmuted. Thank you. Jay, good morning or good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for all you're doing. What a surprise. So I get up this morning here in Seattle and I wake up and I see this Zach Wilson going to be starting the game. and I'm going to tell you one thing, I neither favor or disfavor. I'm a Jets fan, right? They can put freaking Mickey Mouse at quarterback and I don't care. I'm rooting for Mickey Mouse. Now, the truth is that Mickey Mouse is not going to get us probably a win. And that's how I feel with Zach, right? Now, this is his chance, like you've said, and like a lot of people here said, this is his chance. My concern is mostly on the reaction of the team and how they're going to respond to him. I haven't seen any of the press conferences that sometimes the players have. I don't know if they're going to be available today to the media. Or is Zach going to be available to the media? But I really want to see how the players are reacting to this, because this is what's going to tell me. If they kind of just shrug it off, yeah, of course, yeah, done. That's going to tell me something. If they say something like, hey, we're in the playoffs, you got to go win this thing because this is all that matters, then that tells me another thing. So I'm really interested in knowing what their characteristics are and how they come across, because that's all that's going to matter. But anyway. Thanks for letting me hear. Oh, one thing, Jimmy from Seattle. Is it Jimmy from Seattle? Yeah. I'm also from Seattle, and I'd like to connect with him because I'm going to be actually at the Jets game on January 1st with my girlfriend here in Seattle. So then maybe we can hook up if he's going to the game, and if not, maybe we can go to a bar, watch a game or something like that. So Jimmy from Seattle, this is Jorge.
I love it. You guys got to connect. That's good stuff right there. Look, here's how I think the locker room will respond. They're going to be excited for Zach Wilson. They're going to rally around him because that's what teammates do. And they're going to support him and hope he plays well. But if he struggles, you can't fault anyone in that locker room for being frustrated after the game if that happens. If there's another Patriots debacle, you can't fault anyone for being frustrated. But they're going to be good teammates. There's a lot of good, high-character guys in that room. So they're going to support him. They want to win. They were supporting Zach Wilson when they were 5-1 with him as a starter before that New England game. All right? Guys want to win. It's not they hate Zach and they love Mike White. They love Mike White and they're going to root for Zach Wilson because he's the starting quarterback and they need him. That's the reality. the locker room will respond well to Zach Wilson, at least for the game, like the start of like the game. And like now from here to the game Sunday. And also, Zach's been getting all the reps at practice, Robert Saleh said. So the team knew that there was a chance this was a possibility. Dyke Tyson says, will Mike White be cleared against the Jaguars? That wasn't confirmed by Saleh. He said it's going to be up in the air. He said the short week makes it difficult. This might be a 2-game run for Zach Wilson here, regardless of what happens on Sunday. Corey writes in, this hurts. Won't even get 200 yards of offense with Zach. It's mock draft season now. I'm not letting Zach get me excited again. All right, if you want to start looking at mock drafts, be my guest. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on the fact the Jets are playing their first meaningful home game this late in the season in 7 years against a team that's 6-7. It's a winnable game, even with Zach Wilson at quarterback, period. Asman says, hey, Zach Truthers, this is his one opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for Zach. And I'm rooting like hell for him to play well. Let's go back to your calls. How about this? We got Jet fan celebrity royalty joining us now. My guy Hoodie Allen is tuned in. What's up, Hoodie?
What's up, Jake? How's it going, man?
Man, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm here to rile up the chat with conspiracy theories, okay? I'm here with the tinfoil hat right now.
Oh God.
Because we can discuss who gives a better chance and how we feel. I'm a little sad, but okay, Saleh kind of already indicated, if you read the tea leaves, that this is going to be Zach Wilson's team this week and next week. I'm sitting here thinking there is no path for Mike White to return regardless, because if, God forbid, we drop one of these games, we're mathematically very hurt for the playoffs, and they're probably just going to let Zach ride it out for the rest of the year. And if we do enough to win, which is what I hope we will do, regardless of the individual stat line, that's the reason to ride with Zach as well from upper management. So I feel like the Mike White experiment is over, and it kind of makes me sad. And I don't know. That's what I'm putting out there to rile everyone up. Thanks for having me on.
I think it depends though how Zach looks. Like if Zach's playing well, then yeah, like I think that they would prefer to stick with Zach Wilson. But if they're winning ugly, I still think there's a chance they would go back to Mike White based on what Robert Saleh said about him today. So I don't think it's necessarily over for Mike White. I think it's a giant unknown based on these 2 games coming up.
Well, I wish him the best, because honestly, this has been such a fun season, and regardless of how I individually feel about which quarterback is better, I just want us to win.
I love it. Hoodie, anything you want to plug right now to the Jet fans? I mean, I know you're going on tour again pretty soon, right?
No, I'll be at the game Sunday, though, so let's go Jets.
Oh, there you go. How about that? Hoodie Allen, baby. Diehard Jet fan, big fan of the show. Love Hoodie Allen. Check out his music if you were a Jet fan. Let's keep going with your calls here. King Lowski, you're up next on our show. What's up, King?
What's going on, Jake? How you doing, brother? It's good to see you feeling better, man.
I'm hanging in there, man. We're kind of grinding through right now. A lot of Pedialyte.
Well, last night, Jake, I was looking at Green Bay last night, and I seen that we signed Rodon to the Yankees, and the Knicks is winning 5 in a row. And I wake up this morning to this Zach news, man, and it's very disappointing just from a Mike White standpoint that he's still not cleared, and the doctors didn't clear him. But I think we're focused too much on Zach, man. I think we need to focus on the offensive coordinator coming up with a scheme in the run game to make it more exotic, to make plays. And it comes down to our defense taking away the ball, man. With the Lions, they put up points and their receivers are legit. So we need to make sure we take away the ball Sunday. And, man, I believe in the Jets. Let's go Jets, Jets, Jets. I don't care who's at quarterback. Baby, we making the playoffs, and we going all the way. Let's go.
King, love the optimism, man. Look, I think it's a huge game for Mike LaFleur as a play caller here. They got to get Zach comfortable, man. Whatever Zach Wilson does well as a quarterback, those should be the plays that you start the game with. Don't mess around. You call your best stuff early. I feel like the Jets try to get too cute with their opening drives here. I mean, they struggle in the first half. They struggle really in the first quarter. They have 1 opening drive touchdown all season. Like, come out and run your best stuff right away. We're going to need some trick plays in this game as well. I mean, this has got to be like a vintage Mike LaFleur game. It's a big game for the play caller. They can win. All right. This is not, an impossible task. They're playing the Lions, who are 6-7 at home. But, I understand why a lot of Jet fans are not confident in Zach Wilson. The last time you saw him play, it was the worst quarterback performance any of us have probably ever seen. It was that bad. But this is still a winnable game. Let's go back to some super chats here, then we'll get back to your calls. This one is from Trice. Mike White cleared to return Sunday, but not cleared for this Sunday. How? Also, if they planned on suiting 3 quarterbacks, you think Streveler's in uniform? Let's get a big W. I would hope that Streveler's in uniform. Saleh did not comment on that today. The reality is, if Joe Flacco has to come into this game, I don't think he got a chance. Brian Costello tweeted this earlier in regards to your first point. Mike White was cleared to return to the game in Buffalo after he had x-rays in the stadium. He had further, more precise testing this week that showed further injury and led him to not being cleared for contact this week. So that's what happened. It's amazing that he was able to get cleared to come back into that Bills game, though, in hindsight. It really is. Alex writes in, shouldn't LaFleur consider running the offense Dable uses with more quarterback runs this week? Can't rely on Zach's arm when he can't even hit screen passes. Look, play to Zach's strengths. I'd like to see more PA rollouts. I'd like to see more quarterback design runs. Yeah, I would. Douglas says, hopefully Zach balls out, and this likely next game, the Jets have a first world problem of deciding who starts versus Seattle. Yeah, so you're saying he balls out this game and the next game? I mean, that's the ideal scenario, Douglas. They got to win this game first, though. John says, bold move to start Zach Wilson with the wind blowing. Yeah, look, like, no excuse for Zach Wilson. 38 degrees Sunday at MetLife. Football weather. Win the game. Alex says, Zach and Calabrese's jobs are on the line this week. It's more so Zach Wilson's job than the quarterback coach. This is a bigger game for the offensive coordinator than the QB coach. If Zach does play well, though, give Calabrese credit for working with him off to the side these last 3 games. That I will say. Back to your calls we go. Rat Diddy, you're up next on our show. What's up, Rat Diddy?
What's going on, Jake? How you been? Long time. We talked in a while.
I'm hanging in, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, you sound, how's the sickies? You all right? You getting better?
Yeah, I've been better, but you know what?
Yeah.
I got a job to do here, baby.
Yeah, right on. So, I've been, obviously listening and watching all the comments and stuff. And, everyone watched last night, Thursday Night Football. You see what Shanahan did for Brock Purdy. This is a real simple, concept. This is all the Jets need to do. We don't need Zach to ball out. Use the offense, follow your progressions, run the ball, keep it simple for the kid, and he's going to be okay. I don't want to hear about Zach versus Mike White until Mike White's healthy. We can have that conversation after the Thursday Night Football game. We have a really good opportunity to win both games, even with Zach, guys. We have a great defense, and these two teams do not play well outside in the cold. Simple as that.
I'm with you, Rat Diddy. I'm with you. To me, this is a game where, like, if they just get competent quarterback play, the defense should be enough to give them a great chance to win. They don't need Zach
100%.
Wilson to be a hero.
100%. Hey, one more thing. Is your radio show coming out to Arizona for the Super Bowl?
We might be out there where it's still kind of in the works. That a lot of that's not up to me.
All right, you'll have to let me know because I might be able to get you some tickets to the Phoenix Open on Thursday if you come out
that'd
early.
be sick. I would definitely take you up on that.
Yeah. All
that's
right.
the waste management, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir.
You know I'm down if I can make that.
Okay, we'll chat.
You got it, Rat Diddy. Appreciate you. Hawk is calling me an ass clown, saying if we win the next 2 games with Zach, that definitely leaves the door open to go back to 1-2 Mike White. Hawk, you're a moron, dude. You're a moron. 1, I didn't say that. 2, if they win these games and Zach Wilson is not playing well in it, I think they would go back to Mike White at that point because they're trying to make the playoffs and they're going to play the guy that gives them the best chance to win. If Zach Wilson has a stat line like what he had against Green Bay or Denver and they somehow win because the defense is amazing, that doesn't guarantee that they stick with Zach just because they're winning. That's the whole point. I think it's an unknown how this plays out. It's not just the results of the game. It's how the quarterback looks in the games too. Giant unknown right now. Let's go to Ricky, who's up next on our show. Ricky, what's going on?
What's happening, Jake? This is, kind of a shock. Like, this really came from out of nowhere. I was not expecting this, first thing this morning. That being said, I mean, after he had a break last year, Zach came back and was very efficient down the stretch.
He was. He played pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm having faith that he can do that same thing again. Come back and be super efficient after his break. Play good down the stretch. And I mean, we play Jacksonville. he has a win against Jacksonville in his career. I mean, these are all winnable games. You know, our hardest game left is Miami, who we beat with Zach at quarterback. Like, I mean, call me crazy. I have faith. You know, I'm not really worried how the team will respond to Zach because I think that the character of our guys is good enough that they're going to get behind whoever's there. But it's going to have to be a whole team win. The special teams is going to have to do a good job this week. And I haven't talked to you since then, but a couple of weeks ago down here for the Vikings game, we were actually joined by our newest fan club member, who is Mike Westhoff, the old special teams coach.
How about that?
And if you think that you complain about Braden, man, I can't give you a quote, but he had some choice words about the special teams. And yeah, at any rate, that was actually really cool to get to meet him. Awesome dude. One of my favorites from our coaching history. But you know what? I have faith. I think we're going to do good down the stretch. And, you know, the thing is if Miami loses and we win, we'll be tied with them and we win the tiebreaker. So we'll be right back in it. So I have faith.
Ricky, good call. And I can only imagine what watching Braden Mann is like with Coach Mike Westhoff. I'll promise you this. If Mike Westhoff was the Jets special teams coordinator, Braden Mann wouldn't be the punter right now. I promise you that. The reality is, look, I understand why a lot of Jet fans don't have a lot of faith, a lot of confidence in Zach Wilson on Sunday, but wins aren't a quarterback stat. So Zach Wilson has played poorly in games the Jets have won this year. I think he's going to need to be competent for them to beat the Lions on Sunday, but I think he's capable of at least being competent against a Lions defense that's not very good. I mean, seriously, when did the Lions become the 07 Patriots for some of you Jet fans? Their total defense is 31st. Their DVOA is 24th. The Jaguars' total defense is 27th. Their DVOA is 28th. When did these two games become games they can't win? Is it a lot harder now without Mike White? Yeah, I think it is. I'd be the first to tell you I was wrong about Mike White. I didn't think he'd be this good. But this is still a good Jets team with the third best defense in the sport right now. They could still win. Some super chats to get caught up on, and then we'll get back to your calls. We got open lines if you want in on the conversation. Let's go to Alex, who says, I hope Elijah doesn't re-request a trade. He can't. Trade deadline's passed. Elijah Moore, you want to play? Step up and make plays for your quarterback, period. I don't want to hear any complaining about, from Elijah Moore. All right? Armando says, hi, Jake and Chad. I'm riding with Zach come hell or high water. This kid is capable of balling. The reset, I believe, is a blessing in disguise for him. Let's go, Jets. Let's go, Jets. Let's get it. I will say, Armando, Ricky made a great point. When Zach Wilson got hurt last year against the Patriots and came back down the stretch, he was not good against the Texans. But after that game, he played a lot better. Had some of his best performances. Let's hope this reset was good for him. Prophecy says, who's worse, Zach Wilson or Davis Mills? They both have been bad. I mean, why can you even compare? They both have been bad. Difference is Zach Wilson's on a much better team than Davis Mills. So Zach could be bad and they could still win, as they've done this year. More of your calls in a moment. G-Rag says, I wish Zach the best, but it's definitely time to put Garrett Wilson back on the fantasy bench. Upside, he'll be cheaper on Mojo if White comes back. Okay, if you're still alive in your fantasy season and you have Garrett Wilson, I don't care who the quarterback is. I think you still got to play him. Garrett Wilson had a big game with Zach Wilson at quarterback against the Patriots. That was the 3-interception game, but Garrett Wilson still had a big game that day. Just saying. Rob Sullivan writes in, Jimmy G has more wins than Marino, Elway, etc. Is he the same? Me, I want a quarterback who wins 4 in a row. Stats bite, just win. That's not the stat with Jimmy G. Jimmy G is a higher winning percentage than Dan Marino and John Elway. Obviously, Dan Marino and John Elway are better freaking quarterbacks than Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not relevant, though, Rob. Your point is right. Just win. Doesn't matter how. Alex says, if Zach goes 14 of 27 with 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and the Jets win 20-13 in spite of him with a big bam and defensive game, Mike White is ready for Jacksonville. Mike needs to play. If Zach plays poorly and they still win and Mike White's cleared, asking me this right now, I think they go back to Mike White. I will worry about that scenario after the game Sunday. That's my take. Let's bring on some Jet fan royalty again. Our guy Will Parkinson is tuned in, and he joins us now from the Turn on the J podcast. What's up, Will?
Oh, what a day, man. I literally was about to do radio, and like it was like whatever time it was. I was going on in like 20 minutes. I was like, "Are you serious? What a day."
What do you think?
I mean, it's disappointing. I don't know. I think first of all, two things can be true. It's hard to communicate this on Twitter because people mouth breathers or get very excited, but like you can be disappointed in the fact that Mike White's not playing and he gave them objectively a much better shot on Sunday, and you feel much better with him playing, and also be like, I hope Zach plays well and gets them a W by any means necessary, whether it's this week and next week. I mean, it does feel like if the Jets lose on Sunday, which I'm not sure how you have confidence Zach's going to play well, but if you do, that's great. I more power to you. Obviously, everyone will convince themselves by Sunday morning at 11 o'clock that he'll play well. That, if they don't play well, they lose. And then they lose on Thursday, which could very well happen. It could have happened with Mike White as well. We're not going to see Mike White again if that happens. Obviously, look, at the end of the day, they have to do whatever's necessary to win on Sunday. But, it is kind of crazy to think about the fact that not only is Zach playing, Mike White's out. Corey Davis is not playing. No one's talked about that. Quinn Williams, I would say there's no chance he's playing. I mean, I know they're trying to keep it open, but he hasn't practiced all week, and he's still 50-50. It's I don't know. It'll be interesting, man. He's playing a terrible defense. So, the expectations in my mentions all week where Mike White has to throw for 450 and 4 touchdowns and win. I wonder what the expectations for Zach will be now.
Do you think the reset will have helped him? Do you think that
you saw the clip of him throwing yesterday? Nothing looks any different. It's probably more mental than anything. But you can't fix that stuff in 20 days or whatever it was. Yeah, the hope has to be. You get the Zach that played against the Bills, who's more calm, doesn't turn the football over, makes the 2 or 3 nice throws that you needed from him. You run the football well, you cause a couple turnovers, and you get out of there with a 20-14 win or whatever it might be.
This is on the defense to win this game. They got to force turnovers against Jared Goff, who stinks in cold weather.
Yeah, Goff's been bad in cold weather. The Lions, 31 scored touchdowns at home, only 11 on the road, all those different things. An interception or 2, a fumble or 2, whatever it might be. It does suck from the perspective. I saw someone mention it before, but Corey Davis is who he probably has the best chemistry with, of any of these guys. And what will be the most predictable Jets scenario is going to happen. The Jets are going to win. Zach's going to look at best mediocre and not very good, but the Jets will win. He will be 6-2 as a starter, so there'll be the hesitation to not go away from him again because the Jets won. But then, it'll be the same process we just went through where it's Zach's QB record versus Mike White's stats. The Jets are in it, so they can't really bench Zach, but they can because Mike White. If
they win ugly, I think they could go back to Mike White if he's cleared for Thursday.
Yeah. I think there's a better chance than not that, the next 10 days Zach plays. It's hard for me to believe that Mike White will be cleared an extra 4 days later. I'm hoping at least if Quinn Williams doesn't go Sunday, it's because they want him available for Thursday. That would be what you'd hope. And Corey Davis, you'd hope you get back Thursday as well. But I hope Zach goes out and throws for 800 yards. I really do. I think that gets misconstrued. Me and you talked on Monday. I'm not sitting here trying to bash Zach. I'm just being objective that he was putrid and had 2 yards of total offense against the Patriots 3 weeks ago. So it's unrealistic to expect all of a sudden that he's going to look like the next coming of, Patrick Mahomes. That said, you'd like to see some confidence. Garrett Wilson's rolling right now. Elijah's rolling. The Lions defense isn't very good, and they play a bunch of man-to-man, which Zach has struggled with. Can he stand in the pocket? It does suck to think about Mike White and the fact that he was playing well, basically died on the field on Sunday. And there's a very realistic chance he never starts again in the rest of the season, just based on the way that things could work out. So you hope Zach's humbled, his mental state's better, and he looks decent against the Lions, and maybe he finds a way to win both these, help the Jets win both these games and keep their playoff hopes alive, and you reevaluate from there. But I don't think anyone should be crushing other fans who aren't as confident now in the Jets on Sunday. I think that's fair to be a little pessimistic that
Of course,
another just guy's hurt.
like root like hell for Zach Wilson, but I said it at the top of the show. Anyone who's not confident in the Jets now winning because of Zach, I can't blame you. The last time you watched him play, he sucked. He was awful. It was the worst quarterback performance any of us have seen. They had 2 yards in the second half, and then 3 days later, Kirk Cousins torched that same defense.
Mac Jones in the same game, 2 for 300. So,
crazy.
I don't know. Well, whatever. Like you said, though, at the end of the day, I tweeted it. I'm sure people were commenting that I was being too harsh. I don't care how I joked, run the ball 96 times. Sure, honestly, everyone wants to see it, so go throw the ball 96 times. Let's see what happens, right? Like we saw it once this year against the Patriots where they really unleashed Zach, quote unquote, and obviously we know what happened, but bad defense, sure, go throw the ball 65 times then if that's what everyone wants to see. And if Zach's great, you play him again on Thursday. And if he's terrible and Mike White's cleared and the Jets lose, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I mean, like I don't think Mike White did anything that he shouldn't be the starter unless Zach is so outrageously good. This is the same thing. Mike White threw for 315, 3 touchdowns against the Bears, and everyone's like, Zach, it's still Zach's job if Mike White does bad against Minnesota. So if Zach does good on Sunday and Mike White's not cleared, Zach has another opportunity to prove himself. If he plays well against Jacksonville, you keep with him. If he plays badly, which I hope not, and the Jets win, I would say you probably go back to Mike White. So
I agree with your prediction, though. I think Zach's going to be like competent, and they probably win an ugly one Sunday.
Yeah, 16 of 25 for 145 and a touchdown, no picks. They run the ball well, have a couple of defensive turnovers, and win 23-14.
Which is fine. Just win and worry about Thursday when we get there. They got to win this game no matter how it looks. They got to just find a way. I want the playoffs more than I want to debate who the quarterback should be. I think it should be Mike White as soon as he's cleared, unless Zach Wilson plays really well with this opportunity. That's my personal thought going into this.
It's so funny. The comments always there's no better people on the planet than the Jake Asman comment section. But dude, no, Zach Wilson throwing it 20 times and Mike White 57 times is because they don't trust Zach. They didn't trust Zach to throw it 57 times. Like I don't know what else to tell you. He couldn't complete a screen pass. And there was another one over here. Hold on. I just want to make sure before I let you go here. Where did this go? This was one of the funniest ones. Mike White will never be the long-term answer. Maybe not. We have no idea. Guess what? Zach Wilson probably isn't the long-term answer either. They both might stink. They both might be good. But from what we've seen so far this year, Zach hasn't been very good, although they've won games and he's had some moments. Mike White's been much better than him, if not. And, but they haven't won a bunch of games. So at the end of the day, I don't know, man. I just whatever happens, just win on Sunday and keep the playoff hopes alive because it would really suck for Zach's reputation as well. If he comes back in and they lose Sunday, it's going to get ugly on the timeline, and I'd prefer not to have to deal with that.
Would you agree this is his last shot though? Because I look at it like this:
if he's awful on Sunday, I don't know.
He's done. He might start at a necessity against Jacksonville, but there's no long-term future for Zach Wilson.
The dream is either at the end of the day, we talked about this all year, and I know I'm repeating myself, but this year is all about: do you have the coach, do you have the roster, do you have the GM, and do you have the quarterback? Whether people accept it or not, if you get the answer on Zach and it's not a positive one, you still got the answer, and it'd be better for the Jets right now to know going forward in next year. Is our quarterback in-house or not? You were hoping either Mike White was really good the next 4 weeks, you made the playoffs, and he's probably your guy going into next year, competing with somebody it's a rookie or Zach, whatever. Or hopefully Zach is great the next 4 weeks and you go, oh, wow, we actually have our guy in-house. We don't have to go spend another money. It's a rookie quarterback. I mean, it's a second-year guy going to year 3. Maybe he takes a leap. Either way, you hope you get that answer and you find a way into the playoffs. The worst case is obviously you don't know if Mike White's good. You don't know if Zach's actually terrible, and you don't make the playoffs. That's the only scenario which sucks, and there's still a chance for that scenario. So I don't know. That's the one thing you can't have happen.
What do you anticipate the game plan looking like Sunday? If you're Mike LaFleur, how would you start things off? What would you look to try and do offensively?
I think you'd like to see them. I mentioned this in the pod. I think this team is better right now having the pass set up the run just based on the way teams are playing them. I am sure the Lions are going to stack the box and blitz Zach.
They're going to dare Zach to complete a screen pass.
They're going to say literally complete a pass. And if you're the Jets, you have to find a way to get Zach in rhythm early on. Can you get him 3-4 completions, whether it's a screen pass, a couple of different, ways to get him involved? Can you get Wilson, more in these guys involved so they don't completely tune Zach out? Because that's what's the worst case scenario is you run the ball, you go 3 and out early. Zach has 1 or 2, incompletions, and then Moore and Wilson throw a temper tantrum on the sidelines because, like, we've seen this before. That's what you can't have. So, get Zach involved early. It's maybe you take a shot early on. Like, what if Zach, maybe let Zach go out there and rip a go ball to start, and just go like Garrett Wilson, go
How
run.
about first play of the game, throw a bomb to Garrett Wilson down the
And
sideline?
then look, if it's incomplete, it's incomplete. But if it's
You show
complete,
confidence that you're
maybe
going
all
to
of
let
a
him air
sudden,
it out.
maybe the light clicks for Zach, and it's like, whoa, okay, like this, I can do this. And then Garrett Wilson's engaged, and the offense is like, it's tough. I'm not going to not talk about the yards per attempt versus the Patriots. They stuffed the box because Zach couldn't complete a pass. Like, that's why. Like, the teams respected Mike White's ability to throw. And they didn't expect. Just get Zach involved early, get him in rhythm, and then let him let that run game take over. The defense hopefully gets you short fields. It should be decent weather to throw the football in on Sunday. Looks like 38 and sunny. There should be no wind excuse. There should be no cold weather excuse. Don't want to hear any of that. So Jared Goff's terrible outside. We've all seen this story before. So, like I said, go get a W. Hopefully you get Zach involved early. Keep the receivers engaged. Help them block better on run plays. Like, you need a big game out of this defense. And you just hope that, Mike White and Quinn Williams potentially being out doesn't cost them a playoff berth. That'd be brutal.
Peter writes in with the super chat. Just make sure when Zach gets his 6th win of the season, you guys keep that same energy against Zach. No one's rooting against Zach, Peter. This is what the Zach Wilson sycophants, the truthers, as I call them, are ridiculous. We're simply watching the football games as Jet fans, and Mike White's better. No one's rooting against Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson couldn't complete a screen pass, a check down the last time he played. Mike White can. Mike White's outplayed Zach Wilson dramatically. Eye test wise, stat wise, it's not even close. So that's why Jet fans are down in the dumps that Mike White, who was playing well, can't play. No one's rooting against Zach Wilson. If you're rooting against Zach Wilson, you're not really a Jet fan, so I don't count you. Like, we all want to see Zach play well, but any Jet fan that's worried about Zach having to play Sunday, can you blame them based on what we've seen this year?
No one's preying on Zach's downfall. Like, I don't understand. Like, dude, it's the same. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but Jets fans are like, and I did it too, crapped all over Mac Jones last year because of everyone was anointing him this good quarterback because of QB record. And then it's like, if you're doing the same thing, like, that's not, like, we're not doing that. Like, it's not sustainable long term that Zach's just career's gonna be based off QB wins. Yes, it's important that the Jets won in the games Zach played. You've pointed out Zach in the games that Breece Hall was not playing has been just a worse version of Mike White. So, yes, would it be better if Mike White was 3-0? Would Jets fans be more on board? Of course. And would it suck if Zach loses on Sunday? Of course. And if he wins, that's great. I will give him a round of applause, and I hope that he keeps the Jets in the playoff race. I'm rooting for Zach Wilson on Sunday. I'm not rooting against him. I'm just being honest here that the last time we saw Zach Wilson, he had 2 yards of total. Him and the Jets offense had 2 yards of total offense, and Garrett Wilson was about to literally explode in the locker room. Elijah Moore was requesting trades. Like, these things all did happen. I will say, I love Robert Saleh just as much, if not more than anybody. And I know he just has to say things to try to instill confidence. That quote was really not like, you could have used any other example about Zach. You could have said, if this is a guy who won against the Buffalo Bills and looked competent 4 weeks ago, that quote would have played. 18 of 18 in the Idaho Potato Bowl against Western Michigan or South Florida, whatever that was, like, that wasn't like necessarily the comment, because now the Jets are a laughing stock on Twitter again. Like, can we think of a better example of that? How Zach has performed well? Like, oh, we looked, Zach in his first career game threw for 2 touchdowns against a good Panthers defense, like, or the Titans game threw for 300 and 2 touchdowns and looked good. Like, let's not quote BYU games from 2020. Like, that's what got the Jets in trouble to begin with.
Just win this game on Sunday, and no one's going to care. Yeah. If Zach plays well, no one's going to care. Jets Cubs fan writes in, just came home from lunch. WTF. I think that's a lot of people who are getting this news. I think I broke the news to a lot of people by going live on YouTube with the title. Someone called in earlier and said, big up for Zach. This kind of crap never happens to other teams. Who will be QB2? I think QB2 is going to be Flacco, right? I don't know if Salah said that.
I would love to see Strevler, but we probably won't, I assume.
Yeah, look, being a Jet fan is not easy. It builds character. We know this. You're a Cubs fan too, Cub fan, so you know. The reality is, like, this was not going to be easy to make the playoffs. Like, to end this drought, it was going to take a lot, and it still is. But guess what? They're ahead of schedule, and they're playing meaningful games in December. This is the biggest home game the Jets have had in 7 years. So get ready. It's a winnable game against a 6-7 Lions team, and you're at home. Find a way. That's it.
Yeah,
Find a way.
Nothing matter. Nothing else matter. You could win 3-0 on Sunday. I don't care. 2-0, whatever. 2-0. Go win 2-0. Right? Like that's all people care about. Is like get yourself in a position so that now Thursday Night Football, again, you get yourself one game closer. Because if you win on Sunday, there's a very real chance you're back up to the 6 or 7 seed. And now you hope Mike White's cleared and Zach plays well. And the best case scenario is they win. Zach looks competent. Mike White's healthy, and you can make the decision on who the best quarterback is to play on Thursday Night Football against the Jaguars while you're, still in the thick of a playoff race. Like that's the dream, and I hope it happens. I don't. Again, I'm just reiterating here because no one seems to learn how to use their ears, or on Twitter, use your eyes. No one is rooting. Maybe people are rooting against Zach. I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for me and you. No, we're not rooting against Zach. I'm just being honest and real that the last time we saw Zach, it was very ugly. And that's why the confidence is not as high as a quarterback who I feel like the Jets, were playing pretty well with offensively. They had 2 straight 500-yard games. I want them to win, and I want them to make the playoffs. I think I've made that pretty clear. So I just thought Mike White gave them the best chance. They don't have that opportunity, and they have to go out and, Jets forever with a decent comment for once. Zach had like 90 yards against the Jaguars last year, but they won. If he plays that way on Sunday, cool. I don't care. I really don't. I think that's pretty obvious at this point.
Alex says Zach needs a 3-touchdown game, which he's never had. The Lions defense stinks. I don't care what they did to Trevor Lawrence. The Texans defense also shut him down. They do not need Zach Wilson to throw 3 touchdowns to win on Sunday. They need him to go out there and complete basic passes. If he has the same stat line against the Bills in a game when they won, I think they could win with this Jets defense playing as well as it is, even without Quentin Williams if he can't play. Like, don't lose the game. Zach's the reason why they have 2 losses right now against the Patriots. That's the reality. Like, go out there and take care of the ball, get the ball to the playmakers' hands, run the football with Van Knight, and they have no excuse to not win this game at home. When did the Lions become the 07 Patriots? I really want to know.
Since they became the media darlings this week. It's they're the fun team now. They bite kneecaps.
Green Empire Lawn Care says we're still playing meaningful games. Let's go. Yeah, it's December 16th, and the Jets are alive for a playoff spot right now. This is what we wanted. MetLife's going to be nuts on Sunday. I can't wait to hear it.
Did Mike White's the reason they lost to the Vikings? I'd love you to explain why, Chris. How is he the reason they lost to the Vikings? The defense didn't show up for an entire half. They dropped about 300 passes, interception on the second drive, and forced to throw into double coverage. The one that bounced off Corey Davis's chest. Mike White wasn't amazing against the Vikings, but he was more than good enough for the Jets to win that game.
Yeah, he threw for 368 yards. Like, Zach Wilson's never done that. Rex Ryan writes in, Wilson might have lost fans, the locker room, the coaching staff, but will always have the support of Chris Sims. Let's hope he has a good game. Yeah, look, Chris Sims wants to back Zach Wilson. That's fine. All right. Chris Sims even acknowledged that Mike White's better than Zach Wilson. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are unable to let go of their draft picks from before the draft. And Chris Sims had Zach 1, over Trevor Lawrence. So he's going to always make sure that, he wants to give Zach, get Zach to prove his point right. More power to him. I hope Zach makes him right. I hope Zach turns out to be the best, quarterback in this class. I just think over the last 20 games, you'd be hard pressed to say Zach is a starting level quarterback, let alone the best in the class.
Look, hopefully this reset helped him. He played well last year after he came back from injury. His first game back off injury this year, he had a great fourth quarter and helped them win. So, can Zach put together just a competent performance? They can win with the 3rd best defense in the NFL on his side on Sunday.
Yeah. Also, everyone keeps saying Zach only played difficult defenses. I'd implore you to look at the Packers, the Steelers, and the Dolphins defenses. They're not good. They're not good, actually. They're very bad. The Packers stink.
You can't use logic, though, with Zach Wilson truthers. You can't, because they'll just say Zach's 5-2. We've done this all week.
I just don't understand why it's so hard to comprehend that both things can be true. I think Mike White's better for the Jets right now. I think the Jets need to win on Sunday, and I think their best chance to win is Zach Wilson playing well and playing good team win. That'd be great. And Zach is 5-2 at the start as a starter. That's awesome. Mike White's only 2 losses are on the road at the 2 seed in the NFC and on the road while he got murdered in Buffalo.
Simon says, let's not let Mike LaFleur off the hook because he cost us 2 games already. I think it's a little unfair to be like Mike LaFleur is the reason why they've lost 2 games. I think he needs to have a good game Sunday. I didn't love the red zone play calling against Minnesota, but if Braxton Berrios catches that 4th and goal pass, they beat the Vikings. So, it depends how you really want to slice it. I do think it's a very important game for Mike LaFleur Sunday with Zach Wilson. He's got to get him comfortable early and let Zach get into a rhythm here.
Yeah, you got it. Like I said, got to get him in the rhythm early, build that confidence a little bit. Get the receivers engaged, get some of the backs engaged. You got to instill confidence just not only in Zach, but just in the offenses in general. Like you hope that Garrett, Elijah, these guys are locked in Sunday and feel like regardless of who's playing quarterback, they're going to have a chance to be successful. Zach was obviously the right call over Flacco, over Strevler. Like those guys were never capable options over Zach. But again, I don't think it's unfair that a lot of fans are disappointed that Mike White's not playing on Sunday. I don't think they're out of bounds for feeling that way.
No, he's been good, and he's tough as balls. It's amazing more Jet fans aren't rallying around Mike White. Like the
underdog, tough guy from like that in New York usually plays, but I guess.
I think it does for the most Jet fans. You just have the Zach Truthers out there. That's the reality. They take over every comment section on YouTube. Rob writes in,
no picture on Twitter with 12 numbers in their name.
Of course, and they never call into the show either. Like I challenged Zach Wilson Truthers to call in and argue why he's better than Mike White. They never do because they're cowards. I back any NY Jet quarterback who ends the game taking a knee for the win. Just win, man. I'm gonna root like hell for Zach Wilson. Like I want the Jets to go to the playoffs. They still can. They're going to win Sunday. I think the Jets win with Zach Wilson Sunday. I really believe that.
Would Tom Brady have been Tom Brady if he was named the starter from draft day 1? Tom Brady wasn't the 2nd overall pick. I'm just going to leave that one be.
Let's see. Mike has got another point he wants to make. So, Mike, we'll take your call again. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Jake. Thanks for letting me back on the show. I appreciate it. I was thinking – normally I'm a doctor, not that it matters. And I was just wanting to think about, because they've been real quiet about what injury Mike White actually has. They haven't said it. And if you think about it, you saw how he got it. You saw what happened to him physically, right? So if he feels up to playing, okay, and he feels that he's ready to go, but the doctors have not cleared him for contact, okay, then what injury is really going on that allows him to feel okay, but not cleared for contact? They say it's a rib injury. So if he has a rib injury, and if we'd have believed a little bit that they're telling us, then his rib is not bruised, but it's fractured and it's free floating, right? And I don't know, or there's something there that if he's hit or there's torn, that it needs to heal in order to be fit for contact, right? And it's not preventing him from physically playing. What on earth could that be that will truly allow it to be fit for contact in the next 3 or 4 weeks? What could heal that would allow him to all be fit for contact? Nothing, right? Nothing. Mike White is out for the season, okay? And they need to activate Strevler because Zach Wilson is going to throw the ball into the ground because he only throws the ball into the ground. He always does. And I pay $400+ a month for my season tickets. I got 3 tickets. We got 9 people. We tailgate. I'm wearing Jets, all over on my day off. They need to activate Strevler, and we need to get rid of Flacco. And I pray that Zach Wilson figures out how to not to throw the easy, make the easy look easy, But, we've never seen Zach Wilson make the easy look easy. Maybe a couple of quarters, he's able to move the ball, and we're like, okay, he, against Pitt, he can move the ball if he gets into a rhythm. If Mike LaFleur doesn't get him into a rhythm, then we're going, and the first time we see him throw the ball to the ground, the place is going to go berserk. This is going to be the most colossal, same old Jet season where we were so close and it went away. And now we're stuck with a quarterback controversy. But I do say that Robert Saleh, everybody was at the beginning of the season a little iffy about him, and people are going to say like, oh, we have a general manager who took who wasted a second round pick on a quarterback that was clearly not ready to be an NFL quarterback. But I have to say that Robert Saleh and the way he communicates, and the Joe Douglas and the Adams trade and everything else that they did, at least we know we have good people at the top. But the way they're playing this right now, Mike White is out for the season. They got to activate Strevler. And for Saleh to say, we have, only last week, I believe we have 3 great quarterbacks on 3 starting quarterbacks when he says that. You're like, come on, buddy. You know what I mean? You got one guy on the bench and one guy, you saw what just happened over there, So,
Mike, thanks for the call. Look, I'm not going to comment on whether or not Mike White's out for the season. I have no way of knowing if that's true or not. They're talking about him potentially being available for Thursday. Saleh said today that they could take it right up until game time on Sunday for him to potentially be cleared. So I don't think he's out for the year. I think that would have been reported already. That would have been out there. So I'm not willing to go that far. That being said, he is a season ticket holder, Mike is, and he's right. Well, if Zach Wilson throws the first pass of the game into the ground, MetLife's going to be brutal for him. So he has to make the improvements. He's the second pick in the draft. We're not asking him to be, Joe Montana on Sunday. We're asking him to be a game manager, and that should be enough to beat the Lions at home.
Yeah, it was just funny that like the expectations, it feels like from a wide majority of folks for Mike White was, I'm not kidding. I'll give someone, no, I'm not going to ever do that. Give someone a login to my Twitter. You could literally look through my mentions. Mike White needs 300, 350 and 3 touchdowns. He needs 450 and 4 touchdowns to keep his job. And like, then folks are like, Zach needs to just like not poop his pants. Like, I just feel like, yes, does Zach actually throw the ball on the ground every time? No. But there was a lot of like the New England game was really tough. And obviously the Jets made the right decision at the time to sit Zach down. You hope that long-term it benefits him. He's able to get a reset. You hope that, give Mike White an opportunity. But, and the leadership thing, respecting his, the teammates' respect for him, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, look, Zach on Sunday, if the Lions defense is as bad as everyone says it is, I think they're not good, but I don't think they're quite as bad as everyone's making them seem. I think they're bad, not like historically, but the Bears defense is worse. He should look pretty competent on Sunday. Like, I don't think it's unfair to ask him to be his completion percentage to be above 55%. I don't think it's unfair to say, can you stand in there versus pressure and not bail on every clean pocket? Can you stand in there, be tough, and make the decisive throws, earn the respect back of your teammates, earn the respect back of the fan base, earn the respect back of your coaches. Like, I just don't think it's a lot to ask of very basic things of a guy who was heralded as by very reputable people, the guy that's going to be the next best thing in the NFL. And he was the 2nd overall pick. I just think that having higher expectations for a 3rd string guy as a 5th round pick says there's something wrong with how we're viewing Zach, but I guess we'll find out Sunday and potentially after that.
It's simple as that. I think that's well said. Rob says, I back only any. Actually, I read that one. My bad. Derek, I was just working on getting these comments here. Jake, did you hear Uzama talk about the Zach Wilson comments on the Chris Rose show? If so, what are your thoughts? Yeah, I talked about this when it happened. Those wondering how the locker room's going to respond to Zach Wilson starting, I think this clip from a couple weeks ago from CJ Uzama on Chris Rose's show tell you all you need to know about why I believe the locker room is going to rally around Zach Wilson this week. And if he goes out there and plays well, it's going to be a great sign for things to come. Take a listen.
Know that he had said, when asked about, did you feel like you let the defense down? He goes, no. Did you know about that had happened?
Right when it happened, I think everyone knew that it happened because it came out pretty quick on social media.
When that happens and you're a guy that's your leader, did you go up to him?
Yeah, I didn't go up to him. So I texted him later that night, and then Monday after we had film, I texted him, and then I texted him on Tuesday night, just like, hey man, like obviously you rubbed the team the wrong way. Just I'd say something if I were you, like whatever. Just kind of address it, and he did. But he texted me early and said, hey, yeah, I had already planned to say something. I'm gonna say something today, during after Saleh has talks, and I was like, after Saleh talks, we usually don't have a team meeting. So then I already kind of antennas were up, and then Saleh had made his announcement, and then the coaches left, and then Zach addressed the team, and that was big of him. like that was like that to me, especially after Saleh said, "Hey, like we're gonna make a change right now." Just, like getting up there, like very emotional, rightfully so. I would have been emotional, and I'm not like you said, the number 2 pick, the franchise player. And yeah, he apologized to the team, put the onus on himself and on his shoulders, and yeah, that was a crazy couple of days.
You go up to him afterward and tell him good job?
Yeah, a lot of guys were like, "Yeah, appreciate it, whatever." And then individually, there was like a little line that like dapped him up and said, "We appreciate you, and we appreciate you saying that." And yeah, that was he gained a lot of respect from the players from that gesture.
So that was CJ Uzama's comments on Zach Wilson addressing the team. Obviously, he gets benched after that. They go with Mike White the last 3 games, and here we are back to Zach Wilson. I don't think there's any issues in the locker room right now. There's issues if Zach Wilson stinks it up on Sunday, no doubt. But if Zach Wilson goes out there, and is competent and they win, they're going to be rallying around the guy. I think that's how football kind of works here. It's a huge game in December, playoffs on the line for the Jets. I think they're going to rally around Zach Wilson going into this one. I really do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like there are some rational, people in your chat. I don't mean to always bash her, but like, yeah, look, I think Kenton wrote, Zach doesn't have to throw for 3 bills, just needs to make winning plays. I agree, man. Like that's what I've been trying to say. I'm just saying for everyone that says keep the same energy about Zach being 5-2, well, keep the same energy about Mike White's expectations being prime Patrick Mahomes. Like that's my frustration is like, you can't have it both ways. You can't ask Mike White to be Patrick Mahomes and then have Zach's thing be just win. Like both guys should just win. Both guys should play well. It's the NFL. I expect you with an elite level Garrett Wilson, a back and out of a night who has had over 300 yards his first 3 career games. It's like Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Uzama, Conklin, although Conklin's been a bit rough the last few weeks with some of the kind of turtle shells every time he catches the ball. If it's a little weird, but look, I'm going to, I'll be putting out something after, but like, man, at the end of the day, just be competent on Sunday. Show some fire too. Like, can Zach play with the fire that like Mike White's been playing with? That energy and emotion. Maybe it's, maybe he's like be a little bit of like cocky, a little arrogant. Like go out and play with some confidence, man. Like to be honest with you, Zach should be playing like his job's on the line. Like I think like,
it is.
I hope that he's playing the way Mike White's been playing the last 3 weeks, where every single throw, my job could be on the line. Like, can you play with that level of urgency and aggression and all that stuff? Because I got news for you. If he goes out there and stinks on Sunday and it's 13-3 at half and he's 6 of 15 with 2 picks, you're not going to probably play the second half, and the Jets' playoff hopes are probably over. So go out and play. Go out and play like your job's on the line, because the first 20 starts have been pretty putrid. But guess what? You got a second lease of life. That's awesome. A lot of guys don't get that, and I just hope that from Zach's sake, I hope that he takes his energy of this is I don't think people understand this is a must-win game. Must win. It means they have to win on Sunday. I don't care how. I joked, but like go win 2-0. You could win 65-64. I don't care. Find a way to get a dub.
Amen. Amen. Will, I appreciate you joining me, my friend.
Thanks, man. I saw it popped up on my phone. Jake Asman's going live. I was like, I'll pop in here and see what's up.
Well, good stuff out of you.
Have a good rest of the day, man.
You too.
Talk to you later.
Everyone check out the Turn on the Jets podcast for more content from Will. We'll take one more call here, then I got to run. I did not expect the news of Zach Wilson starting to be the topic of the day, but that's where we're at, Jet fans. Let's go to Peter, who's up next on our show. What's up, Peter?
What's up, Jake, man? Nice to talk to you.
You too, man. Thanks for calling in.
As you can see, I pulled over because you challenged, I guess, Zach Truthers to jump on there. I wouldn't say I'm a truther, but I'm definitely not a troll. I just disagree with some of the stuff people are saying. I had season tickets for the Jets for years. Then we got Izzik. I left. I've got a Jets tattoo. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not delusional with my team. A lot of Jets fans have no clue what they're talking about, period, and they cry about everything. So now, if we're talking about getting rid of Zach, we should have got rid of Mims. We should have got rid of Becton. We should have got rid of Joe Douglas. We should have got rid of Robert Saleh. These are all players that should have got that Jets fans turned on and showed no support for. Now, Zach did not play good. Zach's comments were not good. But the next week, he was going to get up against Chicago. You think he wasn't going to rebound against Chicago? Anyone was against that defense was going to play well. The way Mike White plays, it's just cool. Get completions. But when you start to get to the other side of the field and all you're doing is dunks and dinks, you're not going to get in the end zone because the defense shortens. So you're not going to be able to keep dinking and diving to score points. And what do we see? We're not getting in the end zone. And 5-2 matters. 1-2 and 5-2 is way different. Zach can play horrible and then turn it on against Buffalo in the fourth quarter to get us a win. To be good when it counts. Now we went from we want to be playing meaningful football games in December. We're getting that. Like now we're saying, oh no, now we have to make the play. We don't have to make the playoffs. It would be good to make the playoffs, but we're where we wanted to be in the beginning of the year. Like this is what we expected. But we also expected for Zach to not be the quarterback he will be after his third off season. We let the guy get there first. Now, I'm not going to say he should have been benched or he should not have been benched, but we shouldn't be dumping on him. And we're dumping on this kid who had not even had his third off season yet.
Agreed.
Now, I believe he's going to come out and he's going to play good against a defense that's not the Bills, that's not the Patriots. He's only lost to the Patriots. That's the only team he's lost to, period. So I'm not a truther. I'm not delusional. I just disagree. I think Zach will play better. I think he will improve. He's still young. I do not agree with his comments. I do not agree with his play. I would love for him to make short passes, but he'll get there. That's where I come from. I'm not speaking for every Jets truther.
You're a rational fan. I think I agree with a lot of what you said. Like I when they benched Zach, I said I don't think this is it for him. I don't think he's a finished product. He's only started 20 career games, but I think even the biggest Zach Wilson fan has to acknowledge he has been god awful. Even in some of the wins they've had, he did not play particularly well. So this team's ahead of schedule. So where I disagree with you a little bit is they do need to make the playoffs at this point. They got the third best defense in the NFL. Don't waste it. Next year's not a guarantee. You never know how injuries play a part and things. Everyone assumes, they get Breece Hall back and AVT. Like, how do we know that Sauce doesn't get hurt next year or Quinn doesn't? Like, you don't know. So like they have the longest drought in the NFL. They're trying to win. And Mike White was giving them the better chance to win, regardless what his 1-2 record is. That's a lazy way to look at quarterbacks. That all being said, let's hope Zach Wilson getting a chance to reset here, as they use the term reset.
Getting wins is how you win. And Zach was getting us wins. I know it might not have been in a pretty fashion. It might not have looked good, but it happened.
Yeah, but Mike White would have been 5-2 as well, Peter, if at least 5-2 if he played too. So we can't sit there and act like Zach Wilson, like he's the only reason why they were 5-2. Like they were winning a bunch of games where he wasn't even throwing any touchdown passes and was throwing for less than 140 yards. Like you got to be fair about it. Like Mike White went up against 2 10-win teams on the road, and the offensive line was the reason why he is injured in the first place. He played well against the Bills. It was not his fault why they lost last week.
No, he played well, but I'm not a Zach Wilson fan. Like I'm a Jets fan. Like I met Jamal Adams at Bounce Sporting Club and introduced me to a whole bunch of Jets players, introduced me to security. I met Sam Darnold. He introduced me to Trumaine Johnson, and I mushed him. Like, get out of my face. And my boy was like, what are you doing? I'm like, my guy's robbing my team of millions of dollars. He's trash. I'm not shaking his hand.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm not like, I want my team to win. I would be more than happy to have Mike White winning games, but he's not. He's playing better than Zach, but he's not winning in crunch time. That's what Zach was doing. He was playing horrible, but then winning in crunch time.
What did Zach do in crunch time against Denver? What did he do in crunch time against Green Bay? I mean, Zach's record without Breece Hall is 1-2. If we're going to play the quarterback win stat game, it's not a quarterback wins. Just not. It's not a team stat. It's not. Like
we can agree that we're going to see Zach play this weekend.
Yeah, and we hope he plays well.
We're going to find out if he's approved or not, and what our chances are. I think he's going to throw bombs. I think he's going to drop bombs this weekend.
Peter, good call, man. I respect it. I hope you're right. I understand why a lot of Jet fans would disagree with you, though. I hope you're right. But let's not act like Zach Wilson going 5-2 is because of Zach Wilson. That's not fair either. Just the same way saying Mike White's 1-2 is not because of Mike White. Like the Jets offense with White is averaging 420 total yards per game. That's third in the NFL over that time. With Zach, they're averaging 286 yards per game. That's 30th. Mike White is completing 62% of his passes. Zach Wilson is a career 55.6. Has a career 55.6 completion percentage. It's not good. He was not playing well. He had moments this year where he played well, but he wasn't playing well. So I hope, as our last caller said, Zach plays well on Sunday. The reality is I don't know how we can expect that at this point. I don't think he needs to be throwing bombs either for them to win. I think he needs to take care of the ball, run this offense, be competent, and he can go out there and they can beat a 6-7 Lions team at home. But the laziest analysis is, Zach's 5-2. He's 1-2 without Breece Hall. How many games did they win because of Breece Hall, if we're being real? Or how good this Jets defense has been this year? So stop. But I'm rooting like hell for Zach Wilson. Believe me, I'm a Zach Wilson fan. I like him. I like his family. I hope he goes out there and plays great. I really do. But it's not going to be easy. But this is a golden opportunity for Zach Wilson. It is. He wouldn't be the first quarterback to be benched, be humbled, come back, and play good football. Let's hope he could do it on Sunday. And as far as what his future is, we'll worry about it then. RJ says, will Zach's favorite target, Corey Davis, be there for Thursday Night Football? I don't know. I mean, Corey Davis is in concussion protocol. You never know. And this is the problem with Corey Davis. He's a good player. Guy can't stay on the field. Good player. Dude can't stay on the field. Let's see. Hawk says 5-2. Love it, learn it, know it. 6-2 and coming. Hawk, I hope you're right, dude. But you're a delusional Zach Wilson truther, so I really don't got much else to say to you. One final call, then we're getting out of here. Jet Warrior is called in. Jet Warrior, you're up next.
Hey, what's going on, Jake, man?
How are you?
Good, man. Just coming back from an interview. Saw the news during the interview and almost started crying, man.
Did you get the job?
I got a second interview, so hopefully I'm gonna get the job. Hopefully.
My man, let's go. Let's go.
Thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, man. This is rough, man. This definitely gonna be a stressful Sunday. I like the last caller said, I am a Jets fan, so I hope for the team's sake that Zach's little reset is gonna do him some justice and get us the win. But I am prepared to see 15-yard backward scrambles and missed screen passes and no reading of the defenses. I am prepared for that, which a lot of Zach truthers aren't, which I can't understand. It's just like, man, the 5-2 argument, it's like you always say, it's such a lazy argument. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of it. 1-2 with Breece Hall, 1-2 with the defense playing as great as it's played. And it just doesn't make any sense, man, how people can say that kid won us 5 games. He didn't win us 5 games. The team won us 5 games. Even if you want to say Mike White, he played great, but I can't say he won the Chicago game. The entire team won the Chicago game. So that argument is so annoying and frustrating, and I'm so sick of it that I hope this kid does do his job. I hope he can earn it back, because that was the whole point of drafting him, for him to be our future. But he has to grow, man. Mentally, he has to grow. I was just arguing with this other guy. His thing is, he has the ability. The ability. Ability means nothing if you can't put it all together. If you can't make the ability go with the mental, you got nothing.
Yep.
And Mike White may not be as athletic, but mentally, he's there. He's sharp, man. And if Zach could do that, thank the football gods. But if he can't, then who knows, man? Our season might be done. I'm praying it's not. I hope it's not. The defense should do great. Hopefully they can get to golf at least 5 or 6 times, 5 or 6 sacks, stop the running game. I don't think Amon St. Brown is going to do any good against Sauce or DJ Reed. So we should definitely get the win as long as this kid can manage the game well and don't turn the ball over. All right, Jake, man.
You're the man, Jet Warrior. Congrats on the second interview. Appreciate the call. Look, every Jet fan should be rooting for Zach Wilson on Sunday, period. He doesn't need to be a hero for them to win. All right? They won 5 games with him just being competent to below average. Name me the game where Zach Wilson carried the Jets to a win. You want to tell me he carried them in Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter? Yeah, I'd be the first to point to that. Believe me. I talked about that a lot. But his stat line in that game, he completed 50% of his pass. Like, there hasn't been a game this year where Zach Wilson's quote-unquote won them the game. He doesn't need to. They can win because the team's really good. They got the 3rd best defense in the sport. They're playing a Lions team that's playing good football. They're still 6-7 on the year, and they're a different team away from Ford Field. Jets are home. It's 38 degrees at kickoff. Jared Goff's numbers in cold weather speak for itself. Find a way to win, and then we'll go from there. But I'm not, I'm not going to sit here and be down in the dumps just because Mike White can't play. They could win on Sunday. Is it a lot harder? Yeah, I think it is. But let's see it. Let's see it on Sunday. Jeff fans, appreciate all of you who tuned in, all of you who called. Reminder to please hit the subscribe button on the right-hand side of your screen if you want to support the show. Hit the like button on your way out of here as well. And if you want this show as a podcast, join my Patreon, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. You'll get the podcast ad-free from YouTube ads, exclusive opportunities to get discounted options at my merch store, custom exclusive podcast every single month that will only be on Patreon. So big thanks to everyone who has signed up so far. Thank you once again to everyone who took time to watch, call, and comment. You guys are the best. I'm sure we'll have another show tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon. Jets football, baby. Never a dull day. Jets, Jets, Jets.